Babes, welcome back to the channel. My name's Chastity.
And my name's Hannah.
And today we will be telling you what we think are 6 underrated books. So let's begin.
So the first book that I'm going to talk about is I Can Be a Better You by Tarryn Fisher. Now, Tarryn Fisher is like one of our favorite authors. She actually hasn't read this one, even though this is her copy.
I am scared to be without a Tarryn Fisher
Yes.
book. I am unreasonably scared to be without a Tarryn Fisher book, but I do know she just announced that she will have 2 out this year. So I'm going to finally take the plunge and read it.
You need to. It's so good. So this is a psychological thriller, and it's about a girl named Fig who loses a pregnancy early on in the book, and she finds a little girl that she believes to embody the soul of her lost daughter. And so she buys a house by them and by this family, and kind of slowly, like, you see that she's kind of slowly morphing into this little girl's mom. And that's kind of all I'm gonna say about it. It's really, really interesting. And that's why it's called I Can Be a Better You, and it was formerly called Bad Mommy, because she kind of becomes really obsessed with the little girl's mom, and it's really creepy. And also, if you're a Tarryn fan, you'll see so many, and it's not just me, like, she talks about it on her Tuesdays with Tarryn. You will see a lot of similarities between these characters and people in her real life. It's kind of cool.
I'm really excited to read that one. So the first one that I want to say is underrated is big surprise here. Mudvayne by Tarryn Fisher. It is not like a secret that Tarryn is my queen. This is the first book I ever read by her. It's a psychological thriller. It's about Senna, who's a novelist who wakes up in a cabin in the middle of the woods. No knowledge how she got there, no knowledge how to get out. I don't want to, she hasn't read this one.
I haven't.
So I don't want to.
I'm like putting it off because I feel like it's gonna like destroy my brain.
There's so much more to it than just like, oh, okay, she was captured, pretty much. There's so much more to it. There's so many different details, and I don't want to give away too much.
Of course there is, because it was written by Tarryn Fisher.
It
can never just be the synopsis.
This one ripped my heart out.
Yeah.
Stomped on it, shoved it back in my chest. Like, killed me and then brought me back to life. Mudvayne will forever like be my soul book. And that's about it. I highly recommend this novel.
Anything by Tarryn Fisher. She, in general, is like the most underrated author ever.
Yeah, definitely. I would so agree with that. Yeah. Definitely the most underrated.
Okay, so the next book I'm going to talk about is Villette by Charlotte Bronte. Now, I'm not saying that Charlotte Bronte is an underrated author. I'm just saying that when people think of her, they probably think about her more popular books like The Professor or... to be honest, I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to sound dumb. I can't remember what she wrote or what Emily wrote. But this was probably my favorite that I'd ever read by either of them. It's kind of, to be honest, it's been years since I read it, so I don't remember all the details, but it's about a girl who like loses her family, and she decides to move from her small little town in England to this fictional French-speaking town. And she starts working for this girls' school, and they realize how good her English is, and so they go ahead and have her become like the English teacher there. And she reconnects with a boy that she grew up with, and it's kind of a story about unrequited love, but then she falls in love with somebody who has a different religion than her, and they're told they can't get married. And I remember the imagery in this book being really beautiful and kind of like, it's just so cool to see the adventures that she gets into as a single young woman. I really recommend this one. It's really, really good.
So the next one that I think is a very underrated book and an underrated author just in general is Christina Hart's Synthetic Love. I've spoken about Christina Hart before. I absolutely love her poetry. Her novels, very, very good as well. This one is kind of out of the ordinary, and I ended up reading it because somebody pointed it out that it was a little bit different and not exactly everybody's cup of tea. But it is about Alan, who is a very, very nice man, has a lot of different qualities, but he also happens to be a sex addict. And he also owns a $6,000 sex doll.
Yeah, you did tell me about this, I remember now, yeah.
But he has an extremely interesting backstory, and I just think the novel was written wonderfully, and I really would recommend this to anybody. Kind of stepping out of your comfort zone a little, because it's not necessarily something that everyone wants to read or would go to, But I definitely think it's underrated, and I definitely think it should get more attention, for sure, because it's a wonderful novel.
So the third and final book that I'm going to talk about, I don't have a physical copy of. I literally don't think this book is available in print. I could be wrong. So hopefully our editor will insert a little picture up here or something. But it is Risen by Cole Gibson. I don't know if I know I've talked to you about this book. I don't know if I've talked to the channel about it. But it's basically about a girl who lives in a secluded cabin in the woods with her aunt. And she's homeschooled. She's not really friends with anybody outside. Like, she really only talks to her aunt and her dog that she's very close with. But one day her aunt kind of starts acting weird, and then she gets kidnapped by these two very strong and very attractive and very weird men, and learns that basically she has a past that she didn't know about. And if you are, I'm not gonna say anything else about it because I would just ruin it. If you're into vampire books, I would really recommend it though.
Yeah. So the final one that I am going to recommend is For Now by Kat Savage. This novel was another one that like ripped my heart out and then put it back in. It's about Delilah and Sam. They're both kind of broken people for different reasons. They have quite a bit of history on their own that they're kind of dealing with, and when their paths cross. And I don't want to say too much because I really, really am hoping that you guys will go and like pick these books up.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ruin them.
I would strongly recommend any book that either of us have talked about in this entire, obviously that's why like we're calling it the underrated books.
Yeah, because
we haven't personally heard anybody talk about any of these books, but they were ones that we loved.
Yeah, for sure. And I would actually recommend, for the ones that I talked about, I would recommend anything by these authors. And I have talked about them before. These are not new authors to me. Like, I talk about them all the time. But I would for sure recommend these guys.
I will warn you though, on the last book that I talked about by Cole Gibson, there was supposed to be a sequel to that book that came out earlier this month, and it just never came out. And I don't know anything about it. She doesn't, not like that I found, she doesn't have any social media, so I don't know what's going on with this story.
So if anyone has the 411.
Yeah, if anybody has the 411, let me know in the comments. And also there's a cliffhanger at the end of the book, and I need another one.
What in the world? It was supposed to come out last month?
It was supposed to come out April 2nd. I specifically remember the date. I've been counting down to it since I read the first book. Like
what's the author's name?
Cole Gibson.
Cole, what's going on, man?
Well, what you doing, girl?
What's going on?
Honey, where you at? Well, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know if you decide to pick up any of these books, or if you've already read them and you enjoyed them also.
Absolutely. Make sure you press that like button and subscribe. Turn on the notifications so you know when we upload. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.